Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Keto and the Chaos. My name is Tammy, and on this channel, I like to share all my tips and tricks on how I lost 207 pounds without surgery and how you can be successful on your own weight loss journey. So if that's what you're looking for, don't forget to click the subscribe button and ring the bell for more videos like this one to inspire you to get started. Hello everyone, welcome back. I am so grateful that you have come to check in on me for my week 23, my reverse diet update. It has been a crazy week. I am finally up to 2,100 calories and I'm excited to talk about how that went for me this week. In this video, I'll be sharing all of my exercise accountability and all of my weights from this week. And I will let you know how my calories went and whether or not I'm changing things for the coming week. And that's just kind of what I do on these check-in videos. If you are new and you're catching this for the first time, welcome. I'm so glad to have you. If you want to know more about what I am doing right now, you can check out my playlists. If you go to my regular main page and you go to the bar at the top, there is playlists up there, and you can see the keto cut from this last summer that I did in order to lose the last bit of weight. And then this reverse diet has a whole playlist all in and of itself if you want to binge watch that to see how I decided to do each thing that I've done and how I have gotten to where I am at today. Suffice it to say, a reverse diet is a diet basically where you put more calories into your body each week. Instead of going down on calories to try and lose weight, you try and add calories back in order to heal your metabolism and be able to eat more food. So that's what I've been doing for the last 23 weeks. I began at 1,350 calories the very first week. So I was cutting on under 1,300 calories during this summer. And my first week of the reverse was 1,350. And I have pressed my calories up based on my weight and what happened each week over the whole course of the 23 weeks. Last week on the 22-week update, I went over the weights from every single week, my average weight, and showed that I had basically gone like this and stayed almost exactly the same the entire reverse diet so far. So I've been really happy with my progress. Kind of shocked that I haven't gained much weight, and really, really grateful that it's going as well as it is. Now, with a reverse diet, you will eventually get to the place where you will put on some body fat. That's kind of the point. And you are also able, when you're finally up to the calories where you're in a surplus, you can use those surplus calories to help build lean mass and thus increase the calorie burn that your body makes, thus increasing the amount of food that you can eat. And so if you are a chronic overeater like me, the idea of being able to eat more food is a happy one. And that is kind of my goal with this whole reverse dieting thing, is just to see how much food that I can eat and stay in a relative maintenance. Doesn't mean that I'm going to stay the same weight all the time. It just means that I'm going to stay within a certain amount that I'm comfortable. If I start to push up out of that amount where I am comfortable and it's been long enough on the reverse diet, then I will probably just go ahead and do a quick cut and cut some of the fat off again, and then go back to doing these maintenance calories that I figure out. So right now I'm being super scientific about it. In the future, I probably won't be. I'll probably bounce around a little bit more in the future and not be so strict about everything. But in order to preserve the scientific aspect of this whole entire experiment, because I'm literally experimenting on myself with this whole thing, I'm keeping track of everything meticulously in my in the computer, in my phone, and in my handy dandy notebook. So I'm going to be sharing all of that with you guys. If you are looking for weight loss advice, I have all of that here on this channel as well. You can find, of course, my Facebook group where I can help walk you through how to do it right down in the About section. You can also find my email address where you can get a free Getting Started guide if you're not on Facebook. And you can also find all the ways that you can support the channel. Don't forget to check those things out. And of course, my affiliate links for all of the yummy products that I support on this channel. So, all that being said, I think it's time for exercise accountability. So last week I talked about it being a very killer week, and this week was no exception. I don't know what's going on with my dance teachers, but I guess it's the first of the year and they're super motivated themselves to work out and do like awesome stuff, and it's rubbing off on us. So I have to say my dance classes have definitely stepped up a notch, not only in my cardio but also in strength training. I've been doing some stuff like that in those classes as well, which is really nice. Not to mention I'm also dancing, which makes the exercise a lot more pleasant. It's an exercise I actually enjoy doing. I'm grateful to be able to do. And so I'm super happy that 2 days a week, I'm able to get some pretty good exercise in during my dance classes. And I will, of course, be sharing a little bit of that here in just a second. I only had to do one chicken bucket workout this week, and it was 57 degrees that day, you guys. It is freezing cold today. So I am just super grateful that that's the day I did the workout. If you're new to my channel, just watch. You will enjoy it. Trust me. All right, so that all being said, let's get to the fun stuff, all the exercise clips. actually kind of warm out here. It's like, I don't know, it's probably 40 degrees, but it's not 20 something, and I don't feel like I need a coat or gloves or anything. There's sun. My kid wants to be in the video. Okay then. And the chickens aren't watching me because I did just feed them, but their bucket is empty, so I think because it's warm and the fact the bucket's empty, I'm getting this thing done right now, just in case it gets cold tomorrow.
Wanna hold me like you used to, but I keep saying we're done. Guess this meant more to you than I thought. I needed you just for fun. Ooh, I kinda like it, this game you play of catch and release. Ooh, I wanna try it, to let you come on closer to me. So I say, my mama told me not to lie to you, but I think that I'm hopeless. My mama told me to play nice with you, but I just can't seem to focus. You try to tell me that you need me, but that just feels like a place. You think you like me, but the real me ain't someone you'd wanna chase. Ooh, I kinda like it, this game you play of catch and release. Ooh, I wanna try it, to let you come on closer to me. So I say, my mama told me not to lie to you, but I think that I'm hopeless. My mama told me to play nice with you, but I just can't seem to focus.
Nice. Well, that felt pretty great. Someone's even got a fire going, so it smells like summer campfires out here. Gosh, it's amazing how after such a cold winter, 40-something degrees can feel like 100. Woohoo! One chicken bucket workout down. Do some warm-ups, do some jumping jacks, calisthenics.
That's why I wore this. I wore this. I also wore this part.
There you go, there you go. Warm up. Virginia, you should be doing it too because you're the one who's cold. Well, there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was a super fun week. I feel like I did really well. My steps on my other days were lower. I think I didn't check my average. I was going to check my average for you guys again. I think my steps were about in line with last week, which was about 4,800 average. So I think it's probably pretty close. I should remember to check that for you guys before, but I don't always think of that. So next on the docket, we are going to talk about calories. So my calories for this week, I actually did a really big push, which made me kind of nervous, especially because the week following my cycle tends to be a water weight gain week for me anyway. And so it made me a little nervous, but also I knew that I would probably be going up on the scale. And so I thought it would be good timing to do a gain, to do a really big push. So I went up, I was supposed to go up 50 calories a day. That was my plan for last week. And so I'm going to actually find that so I can make sure I tell you exactly. So my goal for week 23 was supposed to be 2,350 times 2 days and 2,000 times 5 days for 2,100 a day. And I don't think I remembered that correctly because I'm pretty sure I thought that my 2 weekend days were 2,360. Maybe I just wrote this down wrong because it kind of added up right. So I don't know. So that was what I was supposed to do. And I pulled out my chronometer and was kind of like confused about what I thought I was supposed to do because it didn't seem to line up exactly right. And I think at this point, it's like it's hard for me to keep track where I'm changing things so much, and I have been changing things so much for 23 weeks. I think my brain is just kind of getting fried with trying to remember what numbers that I'm supposed to be doing and changing and eking around the food to make them all line up with the calories. Oh, and I'm keeping my protein high and trying to keep my fats and carbs low so that I can have my 40% protein, which is my ultimate goal, which I very rarely reach. I know that if I could really reach that, I would probably be better off. I did a lot better this week, I think. So let's go over the calories and then we can talk about the average macros for the week. So my Saturday calories were 2,381. My Sunday was 2,361. So as you can see, I went over the first and second days according to what my goal was. I really thought my goal was 2,360, so I'm confused what I did wrong there. Whoops. Monday, I was supposed to be 2,000, but I hit 2,061. Tuesday was 2,007, so that was pretty good. Wednesday was 2,003, so that was good. Thursday was 2,001, so that was good. And Friday, it was 1,998, so that was under, and that was good as well. My average for the week was 2,116. So I was 16 over what I had planned. But if you look at, I was also over last week. And if you look at my average calories from last week, which were, I believe, 2,069. Yep, 2,069. That's only a 47 calorie raise technically from last week, which is in line with what I had planned to do, but was a little higher than I intended to go on the calorie raise. But I will say that my protein levels this week were exceptionally high. My highest protein day this week was 212, and my lowest day this week, it looks like 174. So obviously I killed my 170 goal of average, and my average protein for this week was 191. The main thing that I did to push the protein up is I started, I think, adding protein shake to my protein cereal instead of almond milk. And it just pushed that protein up a little bit higher. Since I had a little bit more room in my calories, I was able to do that a little bit better. And I was using basically half a protein shake with my 60 grams of that keto cereal. And that keto cereal for 60 grams is 25 protein already. So that's like 35, 40 grams of protein just in that one little thing. Not to mention, I love my protein yogurt where I mix protein powder with Greek yogurt and add flavorings and a little bit of almond milk to thin it out to get a big dose of protein. That way, I'm pretty sure that hits me at 45 protein as well. And so, like, if I find some of these really high protein, really low calorie type things that, especially if they taste really great, they are really helping me reach my protein goals. So I did really, really well. I don't know if I'll continue that great of a job next week, but at least I found a few more tips and tricks on how I can get my protein levels a little bit higher. You will see that video probably next Saturday. So if you are interested in seeing how high I got my protein, you can check that out. The one I posted yesterday is pretty high in protein, but my average protein for that week, I should just leave it open so I can find it, was only 174. So that was right in line with my goal of hitting, my personal goal for protein is 1 gram per body weight, pound of body weight. That's my goal. I want to meet or exceed that. I'm trying to get 40% of my food from protein and then the other 60 from fats and carbs. So that's kind of how I try and do it. That's the protein energy diet from Ted Naiman. It's kind of what I've been following from the beginning, but I haven't really ever reached that 40 level. So I don't think ever. So I'm working on it, but in maintenance, it's even harder because they just want to eat all the yummies and not so much of the chicken, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, my average carbs for the week were higher. I was up 11 from last week. I was at 115 net carbs. So definitely pushed up my proteins and my carbs this week to get those extra calories. And my fats were actually down 9, which with an average of 84. So I feel like that's pretty awesome. With those macros, like I really should be losing some body fat, but sadly, that did not appear to be the case for me this week. In the mirror, I started looking a lot fuller through my middle, where I'm used to having really wrinkly skin was filling out a little bit, and I started to get a little bit nervous. On my measurements, I did do my measurements today, and my waist measurement was up 0.75, so 3/4 of an inch around my waist, which put me at, I believe, 27.75, almost 28 inches, where I had gotten down to my lowest on the reverse was 26.5. So that's kind of a bummer. It means I have put on some body fat this week, which, yeah, I don't always love. But you know what? I'm expecting that. It's a reverse diet. And as you push your calories higher, that's supposed to happen. You're supposed to get to that surplus so that your body can get used to it and then move a little higher. So that's totally understandable. Over my whole body, I actually put on 2.5 inches, which generally means for me about 2 or 2.5 pounds of body fat. At least it seems to be that way on the way down. I don't know if that's exactly accurate, but it is what it is. So that all being said, I'm sure you can imagine what I am leading up to. I hope that these scale numbers do not scare you and do not prevent you from wanting to try a reverse diet in your future, because it's really important for us to get comfortable with the scale moving around. And it's really important for me to show you that it doesn't always correlate with what you eat. Sometimes it does. And it's just kind of a thing you have to use as another data point and not as a judge for whether or not you feel great or not, whether you're happy or not. You know, you can't connect emotions to the scale. So that being said, I'm sure you know it's going to be coming. Let's get to the weights.
Je begot aan mijn best life, yeah. Je begot aan mijn best life, yeah. Something you and me, oh. Je begot aan mijn best life, yeah. Jumping, flexing, no. I just want you to know. Something you and me, oh. Je begot aan mijn best life, yeah.
So, yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm sure you can imagine I did not love that. I did not feel extremely happiness watching that happening to me this week. It was okay. Like, I didn't panic or have any depression. In fact, I had way more depression last week. I did feel more satiety with my food, but I still had days where I felt super hungry. Like yesterday, I went to bed hungry. I was hungry when I went to bed, and I just did not eat anymore because I'm like, my scale is up and I'm already over my calories. I cannot just go eat more food, even if I am hungry. So I just told myself to go to sleep, and I woke up just fine. I survived, but that's kind of lame. I don't know if it was because of, my carb level going up and I'm just getting more dependent on glycogen, but it was not fun. I keep telling myself it's because of the glycogen, because my body, and I need to teach my body to go back and forth. So that's the way I talk my head through it. When I feel hungry, when I'm not wanting to eat, I'm telling myself now, like, your body needs to accept that there's not always going to be glycogen, and it's not always going to be coming in when it wants it, and that you're in charge here, and that it needs to go burn some body fat or some of the stored glycogen in your liver or whatever it's got to do. And I just kind of tell my body who's boss around here, because that's one thing I have learned over my journey, is that I'm the boss. And my decision was to eat 2,100 calories this week, and I told my body what I wanted to eat, and I ate what I wanted to eat. And I'm not going to take any criticism from you guys about what I want to eat, and I'm not going to take any criticism from my hungry stomach either. It's going to do what I tell it to do, whether I like it or not. So it wasn't horrifying. It wasn't terrible. It's just irritating, irritating. The whole thing was kind of irritating. The scale was irritating. So let's go over those weights one more time so we can talk about how much I gained on the average weight for the week and what my plans are going to be going forward into week 24. Okay, so my weights were Sunday, 172, Monday, 172.6, Tuesday, 177.2, Wednesday, 177.2. I mean, seeing the 177 on the scale was not fun. I admit it. I did not enjoy that. That was not pleasant in any way, shape, or form. I haven't seen that number in forever, and it feels kind of lame. It's the only word I can think of. So Thursday was 177.4, and I was like, are you serious? Can we not go up any higher, please? And then thankfully Friday 175, and today 173. So I think that because of my measurements and the way I look in the mirror, I'm guessing some of that is a little bit of body fat. I'm hoping that I did enough strength training this week that some of that extra surplus is also going into building me some lean mass. Let us hope. But my average weight for the week was 174.9, which was up 4 pounds from my median weight, which last week was 170.9, which had been down a half a pound, is now up 4 pounds from last week. That is not my highest for the entire reverse diet, but it is my highest in the last 15 weeks. So yeah, eek. That's a little bit uncomfortable, admittedly. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but it's also expected. I know that I'm not going to be able to keep pushing my calories up just willy-nilly and never gain any weight. That's just not how it's going to be. So here's where it gets tricky. The idea is you don't go backwards. Once you've pushed your calories up, you stay up. Now, I've never gotten to the point where I gained weight more than a few weeks at a time. So I think I'm going to have to put a new rule in place, like a limit of how much I'm willing to gain, or a limit on how many weeks I'm willing to have a weight gain in case this keeps happening. That's one thing I really don't know the answer to. I'm obviously not going to just go step up my cardio to try and make up for it. That's not the point. The point is to get your body used to burning that for what you're doing, and of course to use the excess to build some lean mass. So obviously strength training is going to be high on my list. I did a lot more this week, and I will probably do a lot more in the week coming up. I don't show everything that I do strength training wise, because some of it I do in the house and I just don't think to record it and stuff. So I do a lot of things like when I do my bath. I've started doing a little bit more core exercises because I haven't really done a lot to build my abdominal muscles. I'm focusing on adding more abdominal exercise workout things, and just trying to use the excess to build lean mass and not over cardioize it to try and counteract the effect of eating more food. That's the plan. So I think if I go 3 weeks in a row, I think that's where my head is at. If I go 3 weeks in a row with a gain, or if the gain is significant twice, if next week I'm up another 4 pounds, I may rethink the 3 week limit. If I go 3 weeks where I'm having a weight gain, then I might cut my calories back and diet down a little bit. I don't really want to do that though. Colin DeWay says not to do that, and so I'm trying really hard not to backtrack. I may just end up staying here at 2100 for the foreseeable future until my body like gets a chill pill and starts to either stay stable or go back down. That's what you're supposed to do. But either way, I don't really want to get too high on my weight. Obviously, I'm not going to be comfortable if I do that. I have a limit in my head. I'm not going to say what the limit is out loud, but I have a limit in my head of how much weight I'm willing to gain, and it has to be legit weight. It can't just be water weight. It has to be actual body fat. So I'll be going more by inches than by pounds. But I do have a limit in my head of like what I'm willing to accept in the way of weight gain in order to get my metabolism higher. Because I really want to get my metabolism to burn as many calories as I possibly can, so that when I decide to do a cut, either it'll be, if I do 1300, it's going to be like a huge deficit and it'll be really quick. Or if I do it for long term, like 8 weeks, 12 weeks, I can do it on a higher level, like eat more food and still lose weight like I was before. So here's hoping. I do have plans for in the next couple of weeks to go in for another DEXA and a core test again to see if my resting metabolic rate has changed at all. It's possible it dieted down as I was raising the calories so slow because I started so low. I mean, anything's possible. I really don't know what to expect from that, but I do intend to do that very near future. An update on the plastic surgery aspect. I did actually contact the doctor that I wanted to do my surgery, and sadly, he does not accept my insurance. So even if insurance were to cover it, it would not help. But one thing I did find out is that the charge for the 360 is about $8,000 less than I thought it would be. It's going to be $12,000, and I will be able to save by July $6,000. So if I can figure out a credit card option or something like that, and I might still go forward with the surgery this summer, or I am of course going to try and find another doctor. I just really like this doctor, and it's really close to my house. So there's many reasons I would like to use his clinic. Number one reason is that he fixed my daughter's chin 6 years ago and was a genius, and it looks beautiful, and you would hardly know she had split her whole chin all the way to the bone when she was just a little girl, because you can just barely see its tiny little line. He did such a great job. And so I always vowed that if I ever did plastic surgery, I'd go to him. So anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. This is just an update so that you guys know where my head is at with that, because I was really hoping to get started on that process soon, but he won't even take a consultation until 3 months before your scheduled surgery. So I wouldn't even be able to see him until April anyway, even if I find a way to pay for it. So fingers crossed. I think that I could probably figure out 12,000. That's a little more doable than 20, which is what I imagined it was going to be. And of course, I am going to call around to other clinics and see if there's anybody that accepts my insurance, and maybe see if there's anybody that I could see and have other options, and see if maybe the insurance could cover. So there you go. All right, I've talked way too long. I always saved that little tidbit for the end for those of you who really love me and watch me to the very bitter end and are really curious about what I'm planning to do in the future. So I'd save that little bit for you guys. For my goals this week, I didn't even talk about it. So my goal for this week is to lower my weekend calories and raise my weekday calories, and try and maybe bring them a little closer together so that I'm still changing something. So I decided to lower my weekend calories to 2340. So that's today and tomorrow. And then Monday through Friday, I'm raising them up to 2010, but I'm gonna try and stay a little bit under that, because that puts me at 2104. So if I do like 2009, I should hit 2100 average calories for the week. So that's my plan for this week going forward. Admittedly, I'm a little nervous, but I have faith in this process. And like I said, I can stop at any time. I don't have to keep doing this, and I can always go backward. But like Colin DeWay says, don't panic the second you have some weight gain, because that is to be expected on the reverse. So he's like, the biggest mistake people make is that they panic when they see some weight gain, and then they just dive back into a cut. So I don't want to do that. I'm definitely not doing that. So we're going to hold here for a minute and see what happens, and hope this week goes better. than last week on the scale. Alrighty, guys. Thanks for hanging in with me for all of this time. These videos are super long, and I'm sorry, but I just love talking to you. Oh, and don't forget, I'm going to be on Carnivore Yogi this week, so be sure to subscribe over there to Sarah. She is awesome. She does totally different things than me, but we're super great friends anyways, and it's going to be an interesting conversation. That'll be 10:30 Mountain Time on Tuesday, so I'm looking forward to that, chatting with Sarah from Carnivore Yogi. All right, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Love you. We'll talk to you all again soon.
You wanna hold me like you used to, but I keep saying we're done. Guess this meant more to you than I thought.